Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a super duper natural glowy makeup look for you guys, and I show you how to contour and highlight pretty much in depth, or at least how I do it, and everything else is super natural. I have only bronzer on the eyelids, so it's a really easy look to follow. And if you guys want to see how I got it, then just keep watching. Okay, so I started off with my eyes primed with concealer. I'm going to go on in with my Rimmel bronzer and use this on the outer portion of my eye and also into the crease. And this is a great bronzer. It's only like $4 or $5, and it works just as well as the Hoola bronzer. So that's what I'm going to be using for this tutorial. And then after this, I'm going to go on in with my clean blending brush and just make sure that this is seamless and up by the eyebrows, that it's all nice and blended. And then I'm using this lip scrub from Lush that I found and applying that because you can eat it after, so why not? And then I'm going to go on in with my Rimmel primer to make my skin nice and dewy and my makeup last all day. And I'm using my foundation, concealer, powder that I've showed you guys all before. And just blending all of that in, sharpening up the edge of my eye look, and all that fun stuff that you guys have seen many a times, whatever. And then once I am finished with that, I'm going to begin bronzing. And for bronzer, I am going to be using my Neutrogena Healthy Skin Bronzer and this big old fluffy brush. You can use the Rimmel bronzer for this. I should have used it. It works just as good, if not better. I love the Rimmel bronzer, but this is also drugstore, so whatever. And I basically bronze the upper half of my cheeks. I like to look super bronzed, and so I use this as a blush up by the forehead, everywhere that I just want to make darker and bronzier and tanner, because I love being tan. So that's what I am using here. And then I'm going to go on in with a more cool-toned, grayish kind of bronzer, which is what you want to use when you're contouring. You don't want to use anything on the orangey side because it doesn't really produce a shadow, which is what contouring is. Also, if you don't know, contouring is basically slimming things down on your face that you want to kind of hide the appearance of. So basically my ginormous forehead, my ginormous cheeks, and my ginormous nose are all where I want to contour and make a little bit skinnier looking. So you're basically going to want to take this from the edge of your eyebrow, or like where your eye begins, to right straight across to the why can't I talk? To the ear, straight up into the hairline, straight onto the ear. You don't want any lines or patches where your bronzer ended. You can just go straight up into the hairline. It's not going to do anything to your hair, I promise. So that's what I am doing here. It's just contouring along the sides of my face, and look at that sharp line you got there. And then I'm going to take a big fluffy brush that I use for my powder and just kind of tap that into my skin just to make it not as super intense, but to make it blend a little bit more and make it a little bit more even looking, which is what I'm doing here. And I also cleaned up underneath, which you guys have seen me do before. So after this, I'm using my Luminoso blush from CVS. And I love this blush with the bronzer. I just think it flows so well and blends so nicely with the color. So I'm using that across my cheeks, and then we're going to get on into the fun part, which is highlighting. And for highlighting, I'm using this concealer brush by e.l.f. And you can use a fan brush, but I personally like this better because you can really blend the product into the skin. So that's what I'm using. And then I'm using this Body Shop highlight that I got at the Body Shop. And I to kind of prep for the highlight that I'm going to use later, and you can kind of use this really free-handedly, and I basically start it at the cheekbone, but I'm going to wrap this around to the temples, the eyebrow, the tops of my forehead, nose, chin, literally basically my entire face. And this is a really pretty highlight because it's nice and fresh looking. It's not really like super intense or anything, so I am going to start that at the cheekbones and, like I said, wrap that around. And I'm using a ton of this, to be honest, because, like I said, it'll never look overdone. So you want to use a highlight like this, especially if you're kind of beginning at highlight. And it's still beautiful. Look how fresh and clean that looks. I love it so much. And this is like $12 or $13 at the Body Shop, by the way, so win-win situation. And then I'm taking my pinky finger and just applying this to the very tip of my nose to highlight there and kind of give a slimmer appearance. And then I'm going to spray my face and set all the powders into place. This kind of like melts them so that they're not super powdery. and I slapped myself in the face. And I'm using Jaclyn Hill's Champagne Pop, the holiest grail of all. And I'm taking a tiny bit, like that's all I'm taking. And I'm tapping off all the excess powder. And I'm basically keeping that on the sharpest point of my cheekbone. And oh my gosh, look at that. I'm wrapping it around the slightest bit, but I'm definitely not going as ham on it like I was with the Body Shop one. And then whatever is left on my brush, I'm still tapping off more. I'm going to use as my Cupid's bow highlight, tip of the nose, and the balls of my cheeks. And oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with that. So whatever is left, I'm using. Oh, look at that. So wet. I love it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go on in with that bronzer and pop that underneath the eye. You guys have seen me do this a jillion times before, and that's basically just going to bring the eye look together. Eyelash curler and my NYX Pinup Tease mascara, the best mascara ever if you want really long, separated, black, curled lashes. This is the best stuff in the entire world. So that's what I'm using, and I let that first layer dry completely, and then I go on in and curl them again, and I brush it out with kind of my fingers, like it just makes sure that it's not super harsh or anything, and then I go on in with a second layer of mascara. I know some people hate this, or when people curl their eyelashes after mascara, but it works really well for me, and my eyelashes look huge when I'm done. Then I'm applying this to the bottom lash line, and I apply a lot. Like you guys know, I apply a lot of mascara, and there I am with my mascara. And then I'm using more Champagne Pop on the inner corner of the eye. So pretty. And then I'm also going to use this ColourPop shade in Tassel and just use my pinky finger. Oh my goodness, look at this shade. Intense. It's incredible. I love it. And once that's done, I'm just going to use this Pixie lip color. And it looks, oh, I'm eating off my scrub first, my sugar scrub. And then I'm using this Pixie lip color, which looks like a glue stick, and a tiny bit of this ColourPop gloss in the shade Fairy Floss. And I love this gloss. It's so pretty. And that is the finished look, you guys. So I hope you liked this neutrally natural, fresh face. And if you did, like it down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.